Right, just going to do a quick video on my expanding stove collection that I've kind of built up over the years, and get into the pros and cons of each quickly. Yeah, I won't linger too much on the specs of the stove, so let's get into that, I suppose. That's the collection. So we've got multi-fuel stoves, gas stoves, mess stoves, and then twig stoves. So I'll go through every one briefly, and hopefully not make it too long-winded. Okay, so the first one is the Primus Omni fuel multi-fuel stove. Bonus of this one, so you can use common fuel, petrol, paraffin. You have to change the jets in under there, but you can also unscrew this. Try and do this one-handed. And then it turns into a remote gas canister stove. So that's been pretty handy over the years. Used it loads on surf trips just as a gas stove, and colder trips as a multi-fuel stove. So the bonus of the multi-fuel stoves is when it's really cold, like -20 or colder, they're going to be a lot better than just a gas cartridge stove. And also you can use pretty much any fuel you can find. So that's the bonus of that one. Downside, I was quite dear. I don't know how much they're going for now, but it was over about 100. I think I got a staff discount, so at about 120 quid or something when I bought it. So not cheap. But you have got two stoves in one, so yeah, I've used it loads just as a gas stove. And I've taken it to Corsica when we weren't sure what fuel could get, and just use it as a petrol stove. But you do need to factor in getting a fuel bottle as well. I do make a titanium one, but it's even more expensive. So what else? Oh yeah, bonuses over some of the other multi-fuel stoves, like the other ones I'll show you. It's a lot easier to simmer because you've got this adjuster here instead of just one on the fuel bottle. Okay, next up we've got two Whisperlight stoves, and there's the fuel pump. Why I got two is basically did a trip to Greenland, and everything being frozen, it's a good idea to have every stove the same. We actually took 3, so you can swap out parts in case of if you haven't got a stove, you can't drink because everything's frozen and you can't eat. So it's important to have a stove. Now one I paid about 3 quid for from Lone Stock when I worked at the outdoor shop, so that's the oldest one, and that worked the best. But bonus over the Primus one is they're lighter, cheaper. Downside, it's a bit harder to simmer because you've only got the control at the fuel bottle, and you can only either use paraffin or petrol or common fuel, so you can't use gas canisters for this one. But yeah, they're quite a bit cheaper, quite a bit lighter, but pretty easy to service as well. You can take it all apart and replace all the washers. Maybe a little bit harder to prime as well, because if you're using with the multi-fuel stoves, if you're using common fuel, you have to either let a bit out, set light to it, so the whole stove gets hot, and then so when the liquid fuel comes out as gas and not as liquid. Otherwise, you're just going to have a big fireball. So they take a bit of getting used to. With practice, you sort of lose your fear, and you get used to it. But yeah, not as easy as the little gas canisters. Alright, next up we've got the very ubiquitous top canister stove. I think this is a Primus Micron, and it's probably my most used stove, to be honest, because it's pretty light, very convenient, works reasonably well in the cold as well, for relatively, you know, if it's going to get silly cold it's not going to be that great, but better than expected. Not too expensive, I think they're about 30-35 quid, so for most stuff that'd be adequate, more than adequate. This comes in a little carry case, but not much more to say about it really. Right, now onto mess stoves. So this is the mini Trendy. I did come with a pan and a little frying pan lid, but I seem to have lost that many moons ago. Still got the snuffer stroke flame adjuster and the top cap, but yeah, does the trick. Obviously burns methylated spirit. Nothing to really go wrong with this, even if the seals go on the top cap, you can still use that no problem. I've even used the support on its own, just with some hexamine sort of tabs, so make it even lighter. But yeah, good stove. I quite like the mess stoves, because you can I can get mess down my local garage, and so I get a bit fed up with like nearly empty gas canisters and having to take 2 gas canisters for a trip, so sort of using the mess stoves a bit more. But yeah, good, not too expensive, so I think it's about 25 quid with the pan and that, so for backpacking that'll get you going. Now my one I've been using lately, this is the white box mess stove, made in Montana I think it is, by a bloke over there, and it's way lighter, probably weighs about the same as the pot support for the Trendy. Comes with a windshield as well, and yeah, works just as well, just as quick boil times, much lighter, little bit more of a flamethrower stove, so caution's needed, but yeah, good little mess stove, not too dear, 20 quid, so not really cheap but not really expensive for sort of 3-season backpacking. Really good, really like it. It's made from aluminium, but I mean, unless you stand on it, you should be alright. Next up is me firebox Nano, little twig stove. I've done a sort of more in-depth video on this in my like 5 favourite bits of gear, but yeah, really like this stove. Obviously you get to practice your firelighting skills, but leave minimal impact, and it just folds up flat. Ooh, like that. Put it in its little bag, so there's no assembly required, and yeah, you can just grab sticks off a tree and get going. So it does come with a few other accessories as well, but like comes as a support. Let's get it open again. Right, it does come with little supports you can put in there, so you can then put a Trendy burner in there as well. Well, I've never used that, because if I'm taking this out, I'm going to use twigs, or if it's not suitable for twig fires, then I'll take this out, or the Trendy, rather than both. But yeah, it's an option, and yeah, it comes with a little case for a windshield and a sort of ash pan and stuff. So, But yeah, mainly I just use it like this and just carry it in the cloth bag. So you can load sticks through the sides there, as well as the top. Turn these in for smaller pans. Out for bigger pans, so yeah, really like that. Alright, then you got the bigger brother, firebox, generation 2 I think this is. So, similar concept, it all folds flat down. Folds flat, so no, minimal assembly. And this is like a campfire in a box. So if you want to do some proper cooking, this is the one. So you just got your fire sticks there for your pot supports, and you can put them through the sides. So you can lower pots down inside the fire. Get this acting a bit more as a windbreak. Or you can put full-size kettles or pans on the top. You can get loads of accessories for this as well, but I've just got the basic setup. To be honest, that's all I want. Yeah, just got an ash pan. Goes on the bottom, collects the ash, and it just concentrates the heat, makes it more efficient. You need less wood, you've got less mess, and it's off the ground a bit. So not lightweight though. It's about 1 kilo, so probably something I wouldn't take multi-day backpacking, but I've taken it for overnighters and I don't know, if you're on a canoe trip or something like that. I haven't got a canoe, so I'm not planning on that at the moment, but so yeah, it's like a fire, it's like a campfire in a box. And I think that is it. I used to have a little British Army Hexamin stove, but I don't know where that's gone. But they work also. It's just don't really want to use them in the tent because the Hexamin fumes are not very nice. Okay, so that's it for this one. Hopefully we'll get out soon and get some overnighters in the bag and multi-day trips. So catch you later.